to Bakerstreet.coasters live. Now today we're talking about Warwick Castle, which is not a theme park, but it's an attraction within a theme park company under the name of Merlin. Now, there is something that really did strike me on my last visit to Warwick Castle, and that is a maze. Now, there's only one maze in the Warwick Castle, unless you want to call the castle a maze. I mean, that flows too. But Horrible Histories Maze opened back in 2016. Now, it's still open now, and back in 2016, I'm pretty sure Horrible Histories also ended as a series. That's what I thought anyways. But apparently not, and it is still standing in the castle, or outside the castle. Another thing that they've also added that's kind of recent, I think is in 2020, was also Zog, which kind of makes sense because you've also like a Chessington World of Adventures, and you've got the Room on the Broom, and you've got the Gruffalo, who were authored by the same people. So having that Zog interactive playground and everything else around it, it kind of makes sense. But Horrible Histories. Now, I get the fact that it's a castle and it's got some really good history to it, because you've got stuff like Queen Victoria, you've got Charles the Second, Charles the First, Charles the Third, and you've got Henry the Eighth. But having Horrible Histories, I get you have like slimy Stuarts and with and terrible Tudors, but the maze itself is looking absolutely run down. Now, when it opened back in 2016, I was actually there, and believe it or not, the pop badges still create this. I have this. This is the exact same pop badge that was also printed out in 2016. So they haven't changed the pop badges much, and it looks like it's their biggest attraction. Like, where's the castle? The castle's not on there. It's Horrible Histories, which I kind of think is kind of awful at the same time, because the fact that you have Horrible Histories, yes, everyone knows it, or they used to know it, because it's not even airing on TV anymore. It was at one point where it went the end of Horrible Histories, and then you had Horrible Histories Glory Games, which was not a TV show that looked up to Horrible Histories itself. It was literally a bunch of kids on this TV show picking golden balls and opening them and realising we've got this much money or something like that. But having Horrible Histories on, I get it's run by Horrible Histories, but the maze itself definitely needs a new refurbishment. Now, on top of that, I also think it should be deleted from the park completely, or turned into something else that is way more featured to a castle. Now, the fact that you have a bunch of history, you've got all the monarchy people in Horrible Histories itself. The fact that the castle tells a story itself, Horrible Histories adds on to that a little bit, but I think it could be more time-based, like Doctor Who, yes, any day. If you brought Doctor Who into the park of Warwick Castle, that would be amazing. But apparently they don't do that. It's more history-based than what people would know. Now, another thing that really does strike me is because of the ending of Horrible Histories, people don't know what this thing is anymore. So when little kids come along, younger people come along, it's like, what's Horrible Histories? What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this pop badge? Why is this pop badge still here? So yeah, it kind of strikes me, and it kind of loses me in time. That totally was not a joke. But yeah, the fact that it's a hedge maze, so every single maze is probably a hedge one. If you look at the really bad and poor Black Mirror Labyrinth at Thorpe Park, which you can literally go through and you can literally exit without going through the rest. But yeah, no, it's either mazes or hedges or fences or gates, but anything can be made out of a maze. But they chose hedges. Now, another thing that was really, really disappointing to see is on opening day of Horrible Histories Maze, when we were there, there was also a big uproar in the fact that, yes, there's hedges, but you can also see behind the hedges, which is pretty concerning. So yeah, that's one of them. And now that dream has actually come true in 2023. Now, it looks like they have not kept up any of that stuff in the area of the maze. So you've got different stuff like the lamppost, and you've even got the telephone thing, or the siren thing they used to ring. You've got the periscope, but none of those things actually work, and the music's really dull and low. Now, next door to it, you also have different scare mazes, but, well, they do this sort of like scare walk-through attraction thing, which is for everyone. It's free, and that's normally at the Haunted Castle event, so that's normally in October. But having that area, not lit up. I saw absolutely nobody in the Horrible Histories Maze at the time I went. Yet again, it was raining, so not many people would have went. But having Horrible Histories as a thing, even though it opened back in 2016, because it opened back in 2016, it kind of makes it not as old as Angry Birds at Thorpe Park, should I say, because Thorpe Park's had Angry Birds for 10 years. Now, I would be really surprised if this thing makes it past 10 years, especially Horrible Histories, because I don't know the last day Horrible Histories aired. So let's look, shall we? I think it was back in 2015, 2019, Horrible Histories the movie, Bottom Romans. But I don't know. I can't see anyone or anything about the seasons anymore. It's literally ended. The collection will be relaunched in 2009 due to low. So basically, they had low trial sales, which basically meant that they could no longer fund the TV show. So it is still not on air or not on show anymore. It's issues on magazines now, so they're not airing Horrible Histories, I don't think. I can't see anything about Horrible Histories and it being aired. All I can see is 2001, 2009, 2015, Stephen Fry, Gory Games films. I think Gory Games was the last one, and that was in 2015. So the fact that they put out Horrible Histories in 2016, that company went bust a very long time ago. Now, we also have to make sure, and if I'm correct, this is BBC. But we also have to take into account that Seababy's Land at Alton Towers is also run by the BBC alongside Horrible Histories. So the chances of Seababy's Land going, they will no longer fund that, so they'll also have no more agreement with Merlin, with Warwick Castle and Horrible Histories. Now, they both came at the same time, I'm pretty sure of it. Don't strike me to that, because I'm just about to look. Oh, search up Seababy's Land, Thomas. If I'm correct, it was also 2016. Or it was way before that, I think. I actually don't know, this thing isn't helping me. But yeah, the fact that they went along and said, yes, I'll do an agreement with you, which is pretty good. When did it open? Opened in... I actually don't know when it opened, but we roll with it. Unless, here it is. It was back in 2014. So 2 years after, so 2 years before Horrible Histories became a thing at Warwick Castle, Seababy's Land opened in 2014. Now, by saying that, until BBC stops having a contract with Merlin, which I don't think they do, because they get a lot of money from it, and the fact that they have a whole designated hotel, and they made stuff last year, I can see that area not even leaving the park until like another 10 years, because that hotel will be a definite big downfall if it did not become, if it became unrethemed to Seababy's. So anyways, I am going to leave now. So I want to know what you guys think of the Horrible Histories Maze. Should it go? Should it leave at Warwick Castle? Should it be replaced? Should it be refurbished? So yeah, remember to subscribe, smile always, and bye guys.